Oh, Olexiy Haran is a professor of comparative politics at Kiev Mohyla University. He joins us now live from Kiev. Professor, good to have you on the programme. Professor Haran, Russia has designated Ukraine's Azov Regiment as a terrorist group. Your reaction to this label?
Russian words means nothing. This is total. Who designated? Russian Supreme Court. There are no free courts in Russia. Russia is tyranny. Russia is not a democracy. Everything belongs to one leader. So basically, Russia propaganda is crazy, saying crazy things. Also, accusing all Ukrainians of being Nazi. This is really crazy. What does it mean to be Nazi? To be Nazi means that you are going to kill other ethnic groups. There are no politicians in Ukraine who will, with slogans of killing Russians or any other nationalities, because our patriotism is based on territorial patriotism. It means we include Russians, Crimean Tatars, Jews, and others being part of Ukrainian political nation. So there are no Nazi in Ukraine. We may talk about far right because Ukraine is democracy, so we have the whole spectrum. Political spectrum from left to the right. But far right doesn't mean Nazi. And far right is only, a marginal group in Ukrainian politics.
Professor Haran, I want to ask you what this now means for the people that are being held as prisoners of war.
What does it mean?
This label of Russia's label of the Azov Regiment as a terrorist group. What could the consequences be for the people being held as prisoners of war?
Russia is a totalitarian state at this point. So the words mean nothing. Russians are doing what they want. With this label, without this label, it doesn't matter. Because what Russia is violating all the principles of waging war, all the laws of waging war. They're using tortures, and just recently there was a blast in the prison where soldiers from Azov were held, and we believe Russians organized it deliberately. According to Russian estimate, 50 Azov soldiers were killed and about 70 were wounded. We believe it was organized in order to conceal the facts of tortures. So again, Russians tortured Ukrainian soldiers since 2014, because Russia is waging war in Ukraine since 2014. And all the designations, what Russia is saying, again, it's just, a play of words. There are actions. We should judge not by words, but by deeds.
Professor Haran, how could Ukraine react? How could the international community react? For example, could Ukraine designate the Wagner Group as a terrorist group? Just an example.
Russians, Putin as a dictator, he understands only the language of force. So we need more sanctions. We need more isolation of Russia. And Ukrainians just need more weapons to defend ourselves, because Russians are bombing Ukrainian cities. There is no safe place in Ukraine. I'm in Kiev. My daughter evacuated to Lviv, west of Ukraine, but she is not in safe place because all Ukraine is bombed by Russian missiles. So in order to avoid it, we need just more weapons, and we need anti-missile defense system. That's the simple logic. So you cannot, soothe Russia, you cannot compromise with Russia, because what the West was trying to do since 2014, the West was engaged in dialogue with Russia. So on the one hand, you have sanctions, on the other hand, you have a dialogue with Russia. But nothing worked. Russia wanted more and more and more. And finally, they started this brutal war on February 24th, making all these war crimes all over Ukraine. So it's not only about Azov, it's about all the Ukrainian civilians doesn't
Professor Haran, we're running out of time, I'm afraid. But thank you so much for speaking to us today. Really appreciate your contribution, Professor Olexiy Haran from Kiev Mohyla University. Thank you.